And so because of the ease of Team Center Engineering to set up and to use in the benchmarking environment, it has won over and over and over again. You need to know that Dassault Systems is trying to change that. Any of you heard of V6? CATIA V6. Okay, there was a CATIA V4 that we really don't hear much about. We hear a lot about V5 because that's kind of what's currently installed all over the place. But V6 was released a year and a half ago. It is now being implemented, purchased, implemented at a number of different companies. Prior to V6, so on V4 and V5, it was set up so that you could use any kind of combination of analysis, design, PLM, any kind of combination of tools. They would kind of work and get them to interoperate. Dassault Systems has gone out and said it's really hard to have that kind of a hodgepodge of tools being integrated and connected together. We're going to develop a one-stop shop. You come to us, you buy V6, you will get the PLM system, you'll get the CAD system, you'll get all of your analysis tools, you'll get all of your manufacturing tools. They're all going to be wrapped up into one. The jury is still out on whether that's something industry is willing to bite off on or buy into. Okay. The Team Center Engineering approach is we don't care the CAD system, we can manage its data. We don't care the engineering analysis system, we can manage its data. We don't care about the product production systems, we can manage their data. And so it's a very different paradigm that Dassault Systems is switching to. One from being open, how they were, to a very closed one-stop shop. Okay? And you just need to kind of know that as you kind of move out into industry as to what the different options are that you can buy into. Windchill is the PTC product for doing PLM. It's probably the third place in the market. And it's a small market, very small market. Windchill is falling into. What does Team Center Engineering look like? Okay. So at the beginning of any day, if you were working at a company that had PLM, you would walk into your cubicle, you would sit down at your cubicle, and the first thing you would do is log in, right? You would put your password in and kind of bring your system up. You'd log into it. Okay. Depending on the implementation, once you got your computer up and running, you either are automatically taken into the PLM system, and the local Windows, Microsoft operating system is kind of turned off. You don't see that. Okay? Or you have to physically log into the PLM system. So the companies can implement them a couple of different ways. In our case, when you log into, here at BYU, when you log into a CADM computer, the first thing you're going to have to do is find the client and activate the client and bring it up. And once the client has been brought up, you can then launch NX, or you can then launch CATIA, or you can then launch one of your analysis programs and begin working. And whenever you kind of finish your CAD and you say save, because that client is up and running, when you hit save, it's going to know not to save it to the C drive or the J drive. It's going to push it all the way to UBC to save your part there. Now, would you want to save it locally? You may want to save it locally and do more work and finish it, but eventually, when you're done with that part, you're going to want to deposit it into the PLM system so the rest of your team knows the part's done. And if deposited in there correctly, that part will sit exactly where it needs to in the overall assembly. Okay. So this is kind of the environment. On the left-hand side, which you can't easily read, on the left-hand side are a lot of different areas that you can go into. There's one area that you can click on and it'll take you into the mail environment. And so you can see if anybody on your team is sending you mail. There's another environment that you can go into that is the routing environment, so that if you finish a part and it's now ready to be analyzed and somebody else on your team is going to be doing the finite element analysis, you can click on the router environment and you can say, take this file and send it off to this person, and you can monitor kind of where that activity is going. Has he opened it and started it? Is it halfway done? Is it finished? And you can monitor how the progress of that file is being moved. And so if you set up a routing slip that goes through 4 different people, you can keep going back to that routing slip and say, gee, it's still person number 1, which means you need to poke them. You need to send an email. You need to say, can you please work on this? And if they're in the cubicle next door, it's easy to poke. If they're half the world away, that's where you go and you send an email to that person and you correspond with them. And so all of these environments that are kind of down the left-hand side are different environments that you can go into and kind of work in this space. It's an operating system with all of the tools necessary to make this a useful operating system. The thing that's really nice about kind of the next area is it's literally a bunch of folders. And so you can organize it in a very effective way around subassemblies. You can have a subassembly for the front right suspension that gets mirrored to the left. You can have another subassembly that's the rear right suspension that gets mirrored to the left. You can have components in here grouped by subassemblies. When you click on them, as you click on them, it'll show you not a CAD representation, but a Team Center Engineering visualization. It'll show you a very quick visualization of what that part looks like. And so as you're running up and down through this thing, without even bringing the part up, you can say, what status is it in? Is it complete? Is it assembled? Does it look right? And you can literally come over here into the right-hand window and use rotations and manipulations around, but it's just kind of a very low resolution, it's a JT representation of this part file. Okay? It's not your CAD model. Okay? But if I double click on this, one of these parts, what's it going to do? It's going to launch the appropriate CAD system and put you into that part. Because Team Center Engineering is a operating system, it knows what mine types are. What's a mine type? Anybody played around with mine types? It's the extension that gets written onto your file names. Okay? Whenever there's a certain extension, 3-letter extension off the end of that thing, your Microsoft operating system knows what to do with the file based on the extension. Well, this is a Word doc. Well, this is a spreadsheet. Well, this is whatever, and it's based on that extension. Well, this is an operating system, and because it knows what a .prt is, or it knows what a cat part is, what's a cat part? It's a CATIA thing. So if it sees cat part and the mine type has been defined, you click on a cat part and it'll launch CATIA, not NX. Does .prt work for ProE? What's the ProE extension? It is .prt. And NX is .prt, so how does it sort that out? Well, in addition to line types, it also has other information attached to it that can route it to the right direction. Okay? So the system is a great system for doing quick visualization, for doing routing, for doing all kinds of engineering operations in the product definition.